What was your last lesson that you learned, maybe from a similar situation? Do you remember one?
Yeah, I got my ass handed to me recently of trying to do snowboard winging. So I was up at Mount Bachelor when we were hanging with Gerry Lopez and Grubby Clark, some family friends, and we had an opportunity to go snowboard. And of course, I brought my wing with me for the small chance that we'd have that opportunity. Because I've been wanting to try it. I've been watching, Balls Mueller and a lot of the other European riders get out in the snow with the wing. And I'm like, oh, that looks fun. I got to try this. And so right away, I'm like a little bit maybe overconfident, thinking like, I got this. I'm like visualizing just straight success. I'm like floating down the mountain, ripping, like, yeah, let's go. I pump this wing up. And I'm not even kidding you. Within the first 20 feet of like leaving the I try and jump and I like lift off, and when I land, my board was a little sideways. My tail came down like I would on a surfboard, and my rail caught, and I face planted and scorpioned harder than I've ever scorpioned in my life. And then I was like, okay. I got an image of what I want to do in my head, but I have to let go of it, right? I have to feel the sensation of this because it's a new environment. It's a new line. You're ascending down descending down the mountain as opposed to going straight through the wind. And so there's a different feel in the wing. And there's definitely a different feel with the traction on the snow. And I'm a pretty confident snowboarder, but there is, I definitely was like, okay, slow down, Zane. I know I got this vision of ripping and just killing it, but then I really needed to slow down and just feel it out a bit more and see where the opportunities to rip were. But I quickly learned that it's not very forgiving. I had some heavy wipeouts. Like, oh my God, I'm glad I didn't freaking seriously hurt myself. But it ended up being really fun, just being able to fly down the hill, going fast, and be able to control the speed with the wing. You could control your speed. You could lean into the turns more. And those moments of jumping off the snow weren't as comfortable as I imagined. Like there's a few ledges that I jumped off, and man, it would get hairy because you start to kind of twist a little bit, and you always need to make sure to catch that rail, on the snow. But after a few really big spills and after a few big okay moments, I need to take it easy, I started to figure it out and get a few moments of lift off the ground. And I think there's definitely actually something special about it. Maybe there was no wind when I did it, so it was pretty much going off my just apparent speed flowing down the mountain. And so I had to go fast to engage lift, and that was probably the scariest part. It wasn't the nicest snowy day, so it was a little icy, and so going fast to engage that lift, there was moments of like kind of sketchiness where the rail wasn't necessarily biting in the snow, it was on ice. And so I think having a little bit more cushion, a few more layers of powder or inches of powder could allow for that bite of the rail when you land, and maybe have a little bit more opportunity for some performance, and so I'm actually really excited. I think I'm probably going to bring the wing with me now every time I go on snowboard trips.